Okay, more vintage HO from Train Night at Dave's. This is products HO scale made by Hobbyline, and the passenger cars are probably late 50s, maybe early 60s. There's a combine and a couple coaches. They're kind of a shortened heavyweight. One of the unique things about them is the brass wheel sets. But look at these weird couplers. They kind of split in the center, but they're really oversized. They look like an S scale coupler. But I think if I keep these, I will end up putting some KD couplers body mounted. Looks like somebody's already done that with a horn hook on one end. But they're nice looking coaches. I'm not a Lehigh Valley fan. I'm on the wrong coast for that, but I still like them, and I think they'd look great behind this little 040, although that would be a little bit silly. You'd have maybe a Pacific pulling those. The 040 is also Hobbyline. You can see the funny coupler, the brass wheel sets. The looks like it's missing, could be missing some parts, like some drive rods. Separate the two. Don't know if it runs. That might have some bearing on whether I keep it or not. As you can see, I'm having trouble getting them separated. Slow back tender is pretty sharp. I think this was known as the Yardbird, this 040 slope back tender combination. And I think what I will do is see if I can get this to run. I think they were available in a kit form. I don't think there's any high value here, but if I can get it run, I think this would make a real sharp little set. So we'll go over to the workbench and see what happens. Okay, we're back at the dirty workbench. The steam chest pulled off just fine. The bottom plate pulled off fine. Wheels fell out. There's the weight, and looks like it has a little 5-pole Pitman motor. Cleaned it up a little bit, and it does run. It's not the best, but it should do. I'm going to have to clean the wheels. The real difficulty of getting this apart was the hidden screw in the smokestack, and then that dropped out once I got that loose, and then a little prong sticks in the back under the coupler, and then there's a little fiber drawbar and a screw that holds into the chassis. So I'm going to clean this up a little bit more, clean the contacts for the wheels, and see if we can't get it rolling. Okay, now I've got the motor turning really freely. I've got all the armatures cleaned, sprayed it out with electronic cleaner. I've oiled everything. I've greased that little worm gear that's down inside there. I don't know if you can see it. If you can see the gear it drives anyway. Cleaned the wipers, and it was still a little tight, so I added this tiny paper shim right here, and it gave me just enough room to allow it to freely spin. So I'll continue to put this together. I've got it mostly back together. The steam chest is still off. The good news is it runs. The bad news is since it doesn't have drivers, it won't hardly pull its own weight. So I've got to get some connecting rods to go between the wheels, and I may have some in my parts bin, but I surely didn't get it with this model. All right, we'll go back at it. So I keep this drawer full of springs and tiny drive rods from HO scale locomotives, but none of them fit. So I thought about shortening one, drilling it. Then I found I had some plastic ones, and I figured that would be easier. So I took this, cut it off and drilled it, and so I have a new drive rod. I found some odd 80 screws, drilled and tapped the wheels, and I think I've got the wheels quartered. So I'll put the steam chest back on, and we'll go over to the layout and see if it will run. Now the steam chest is on. See the drive rods installed. Got the tender back on. Got the big Hobbyline coupler on the back. Gonna turn on the power and see if it goes. Huh? As you can see, the little Yardbird 040 was able to run on its own power. Didn't spin out like it did without the drive rods. So now let's see if it can pull the 3 coaches. Turn on the power. Uh-oh. There it goes. Spinning a little bit. See if it comes around the loop. It made it up a small grade. Okay, let's look at this. Still humming a little bit, a little power. So there you have it. You've got the Hobbyline Lehigh Valley coaches. And the Hobbyline Yardbird 040 with slope back tender, letter for Pennsylvania. That was kind of fun. Okay, back the train all the way up. And we're back where we began. Thanks for watching.